Hey, family, welcome to another Bennett Family Reunion podcast. My name is Kelly, and I'm going to be your host today. We've got an excellent podcast plan. This is a follow up to our most recent family reunion, which is time of recording is September 2025. So it was really just a month ago. We're going to sit down with our chair. I'm not even going to call him new because he's got one under his belt, and it was a really fantastic one at that. And we're going to go through some details today and talk to the chair about our last family reunion, his thoughts on it, and even planning for 2026. And we're just going to really spend some time with our chair, get a chance to know him and get a chance to hear his thoughts on how things are going and really what we have upcoming. So you're in for a treat. If you don't know, his name is Jamie or James Bennett. I'm gonna let him introduce himself in a few minutes. But before we get into this podcast, I want to give a little bit of information on what we're doing with the podcast, and he will give a little bit more instruction on this as well. We're going to be very frequent with our podcast posting because we want to be a point of information for the family. Podcasts like this you can see upcoming. We've got some upcoming podcasts like the family history. We're going to have a podcast dedicated to family history and archive with my aunt, Constance Ray, your cousin, your sister, or niece, or whoever she is to you. She's going to be on that podcast, and that's going to happen really, really soon as well. And then Christian, who is a part of the planning committee, he's going to lead a podcast for the under 40 folks. So it's going to be an under 40 roundtable. Our goal is going to be around 2 to 3 podcasts, if we can, two to four, I should say, a month, where we're getting something out every week where there's some level of consistency and some good information. Okay, so I want you to listen, obviously, to this podcast, but I want you to continue to tune in to the Bennett Family Reunion podcast so that you are engaging with your family. Okay. So, again, my name is Kelly. I am your host for today. And just like I normally do, I'm going to let you know my lineage. I am from the Preston and Maddie line, and my grandparents were Julius and Marie Bennett, and my parents were Carnell and Carol Bennett. And so my name's Kelly. So I don't know. I'm your cousin, your nephew, your whoever, but that's how you would know me. And it is my pleasure to welcome into the podcast today our current reunion planning committee chairman, Mr. James Bennett. Cousin, how are you today?
I'm great. Thank you, Kelly. Appreciate you allowing me to jump on the podcast today. Appreciate this time and looking forward to just spending time talking with the family about the reunion. Had a great reunion
You did.
and it was a lot of fun. A lot of
Hmm.
people had a lot of good comments to say about the reunion, so I'm looking forward to it, just having a conversation about it. So let me do my lineage as well.
Okay.
So my great grandparents are Bessie and Arias. Okay. And so my grandparents are Lemuel and Nanny Mae Bennett. My parents are the late James Bennett Sr. and Carol Bennett. My mother's Carol Bennett. And then here I am. And so I'm married to Matrisa Bennett and I've got 2 daughters. So we're just trying to carry, like all the rest of the cousins here, just trying to carry
Mm.
on the Bennett name with, proud and honor and do to represent the family well in all that we do.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you for that. And we have a lot in common. You guys may have just heard that our moms are the same name, Carol's. We found out a year ago that we have daughters that went off to college at the same time. So we are benefiting from building this relationship, being on this committee. We're going to talk a little bit about that as well as we move forward. But I wanted to ask just, let's just start off at the beginning. This past reunion, what were your thoughts? I thought it was excellent, and I heard a lot of feedback consistent with that. But tell us what you thought. This was your first reunion in terms of planning as the chair.
Mhm.
So, what are your thoughts on how it went, and what are some things that you've heard?
Well, first of all, I thought it went very well. And I want to give credit to where credit is due, and that was largely part of the committee. We have an outstanding family. If you can hear me, we have an outstanding committee. Yes, it was my first year being the chair, but the committee is comprised of former chairpersons. So you have Kelly, who was a former chairperson, Connie's a former chairperson, Pam and Eric. So you had a lot of wisdom, a lot of knowledge, combined also with Christian and Christy as being on the committee. A lot of wisdom and knowledge there, and so we collectively was able to put together a reunion that I think went really well. I think most people enjoyed it. Really good time, just fellowshipping, being with family. Everybody, I think, had a good time on Saturday at Unity Park. Had something for everybody, and then capped it off on Sunday, just kind of having a little time to fellowship, have a little dinner, recognize some folks for their efforts and for their contribution to the Bennett family. And so it was just a really good time. Even the under 40 group got together that late that Saturday night and had a good time. They didn't necessarily want us to come, so we just kind of let them do their thing, but saw some videos and some pictures of them hanging out, which is all good. And so we're just very happy how 25 came about, and we're looking forward now and going to 26.
Yeah. So 25 was 52. So we're heading into 53. And we've been doing this a long time. And Chairman states it correctly. There are a number of us on the committee who are past chairs. But I got to tell you, I really enjoyed this reunion. I think our attendance was in the low to mid 80s, if I recall correctly.
That's right. That's right.
It's always so good to see family members. So first and foremost, we really want to, every podcast, we always want to be, opening the doors of the church, if you will, for family members who hadn't been there in a while. You're always welcome to come. You are always welcome to come, and the event is always incomplete if you're not there. But for those of you who do come, it's always such a pleasure to see you guys. And I got to say, this reunion, it was just something about the energy in the room for me that I was just pleased from the time I got to South Carolina to the time I left. It was so good to see all the folks having such a good time, and the engagement level was so high. Talk a little bit about what it took to plan this and the efforts behind the scenes that a lot of family members, don't really know about. What was it like planning this and some of the areas of, maybe a little couple obstacles here and there, but overall, when you got there and it kind of, everything was working. Talk about the plan.
Well, again, I was blessed to be able to rely on the wisdom and knowledge of the past chairpersons. Going into this reunion, first of all, I've never planned a reunion. I just
Yeah.
and planning any type of event is just not something that I've ever done, and something really I just probably don't necessarily have a desire to do. But thinking back about it now, like I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun, partly because of the members of the committee. We worked well together, and we all had one mission to make sure we had to put on a great reunion for year 52, or the 52nd reunion. But going in, I wanted to kind of know. You've always heard feedback about, family members want us to do something different. We do the same thing
Right.
all the time. We want to go different places. Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
And so we had, as a committee, we had those conversations. Me being fresh coming in, I kind of wanted to go down that path of, let's do a survey and find out what they want. Da 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 da. But that's when the wisdom of the Kelly Bennett's and the Eric Bennett's and the Pam's was like, yep, we done been there and done that. We've been there and done that. And so, who's going to show up, who's going to show up type of deal. And we just
Right.
let's just do what we can to put on the best reunion for those that are going to come in.
Yeah.
And so, okay, well, great. So I shifted my thoughts. It's like, okay, well then what can we do let's reclaim or bring more members back to the family. So that's when we started talking about reclamation and bringing in or adding value to families.
Yeah.
We had a real good conversation about people will invest time and money in things that they value.
Sure.
And so let's let's make the reunion something that's valuable, and not just a reunion, but what can we do throughout the year to increase engagement so that there's some value there where family members are getting something from being part of the Bennett family reunion other than just showing up once a year in the first week in August.
Right.
So had a lot of good discussion about that, and I think that's what led to us having a more presence on social media,
Mhm.
utilizing the platforms that we have now with podcasts. Kelly has blessed us with, he already has all the equipment and the technical expertise. So he has it all. Just a matter now of using it towards the Bennett family reunion versus using it for, business or any other personal use. So
Mhm.
we're grateful that you have this expertise and knowledge and resources for us to be able to continue to add value to the Bennett family.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of going into the thought process of this particular reunion, is adding value, trying to increase engagement and reclaim some family members to come back and just come and just have a good time with us. Just come and so we can see you and just fellowship with you. Um, that was kind of that was our desire.
Yeah, and we do have really good planning sessions to the point where sometimes we're, all right, guys, it's been an hour and a half. We got
Yeah.
to get off this call. I mean, and that's fantastic. So I'm gonna go back just a little bit before we go forward in terms of planning for the future and things like that. But let's go back just a little bit so everybody knows and has this in perspective. So if our 50th was at Unity Park, but 51 we were out, and I don't know the name of this area, but the lake and that up north of Taylor's, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I want to say it was Lake Robinson, but I'm not sure if that was it or
Okay,
not. But
but
I can't
we
remember the
were
name.
there for our 51st, right? And I sat with you for a few minutes. Okay,
Mhm.
now I can't tell you exactly when I saw you last before that reunion. Okay.
That's right.
I can't tell you the last time I saw you before then, but that reunion, it was one of the least attended reunions that I can recall being a part of. But we had a few minutes to sit together and we talked for a little while. And unbeknownst to either of us who were not currently a part of the planning committee, we would leave that day being part of the committee.
Right.
Now, fast forward to where we are today. This is actually, I thought about this and I almost said something at the last reunion. I didn't say anything, but this is something I want to really hone in on. And I want you, the listener, your family members, to listen to this story. I hadn't seen Jamie, and I don't know when since that reunion. I'll be honest, I couldn't tell you when I saw Jamie. This is what I like to call the benefits of engagement. Having now been a part of this committee, I can tell you definitively that I've connected with him every month, at least once, sometimes
Yep.
more than that, since then.
Yep.
We went from not seeing each other to now seeing each other monthly or at least a couple times a month in this planning process. Now that's the vehicle that's brought us together, the work that we're doing for the family. So in terms of benefits of engagement, for me personally, building relationships, and it's not just our chair, Jamie, but I get a chance to interact with my aunt who lives in Maryland. I get to interact with Eric and Pam who live in Taylor's. So in Christian, people who I normally wouldn't come in contact with, and just so you know, I live in Atlanta, so we're not all in the same place. But this work gives us an opportunity to interact with each other. And in that interaction, we begin to build relationships with each other. Otherwise, we would probably only see each other if we see each other that once a year. So I
Hmm.
really want to encourage you guys. There are huge benefits of engagement in terms of working for the family. There's huge benefits of attendance in terms of coming to the events and things like that. And this is just one example. Jamie and I told you at the beginning, our moms are the same name. We've got daughters the same age. We're both married. You know what I'm saying? We're both in fraternity. So we have so much in common that we're learning because we're spending more time with each other. But heretofore, we hadn't had that time to spend together. So I just wanted to put that out there. That's kind of where at least one relationship sparked from sitting underneath that pavilion at that one reunion up
That's
until
right.
where we are now. And I
That's right.
really think about that.
No, I totally agree. I heard this stated one time before, and it is so true. Is it says it was a comment that someone made. It said life moves at the speeds of relationships,
Mm,
and the older I get, the more I value relationships.
hmm.
And whether that's on a professional level, even on a family level, but even being a part of this reunion, being a part of planning, being able to connect with you on a monthly basis, the relationship there now is growing stronger and stronger.
Mm,
I have a desire now to continue to do work for the Bennett family.
hmm.
Whereas before I'm like, man, I'm not going to a reunion. I'm not, I'm all right. It costs how much? Man, that's like
Right.
$500 for me and my family members. I ain't got it right now. To now I'm
Hmm.
like, it's more than the monetary value of spending the time that weekend. It's about building that family equity, if you will,
Yep.
with your cousins, with family members that you may or may not see but once a year, but now you have built a connection with them. And now you all have, with today's technology and the resources that are available to us, you can connect very easily on social media to
Yes.
be able to continue to grow that relationships. And so
Hmm.
I'm appreciative of, again, just being a part of the planning committee. Again, I'm it wasn't necessarily something I really wanted to do at the beginning. Now
Right.
I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
But God has a way of, putting you in places and putting you in front of people, uh,
Yeah.
and making you tap into and using the resources and the experiences that He's blessed you with to put
Hmm.
to use in other ways. And so I just try to be obedient and say, okay, well, God, this is what you want me to do. Then we're going to do it and just do the best I can with it. But
Yeah.
I'm appreciative of the relationship that I'm building with Kelly and with Connie. I would only see Connie once a year. Like, hey, Connie, da, 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 we see you, they face, blah, blah, blah.
Hmm.
Now, listen, Connie is a trip, so and all the family
Yeah.
members are a trip, so it gives a great opportunity to just connect. And I'm
Yeah.
really hoping that, those under 40 or whatever, and, in our age group, in the approaching, I'm gonna be 50 in another year, or in the
Hmm.
late early 50s, that we strive to try to build those connections so we can keep the family name, keep the family reunion going on for years to come.
Yeah. Yeah. Well said. It's so incredibly important. And you see it more once you do engage. So I think about that as just the benefits of engagement. And unless you engage, you really sitting on the outside of something that could be really, really precious to you and something that could be really beneficial to you and to your larger family and to the generations to come. So, like I said, we were sitting there, and I don't think neither one of us came there to be a part of the committee that day. But when we were um, asked, if you will, we just said yes, and I think that's part of our natures to want to serve. And then here comes the benefits of serving. There are
Hmm.
always these benefits of giving. So think about that, guys. When you're out there and you see an opportunity to benefit, others, and particularly your family, there are always benefits to serving and to engaging. Talk
That's
about
good.
this real quick, and then we'll move forward because you kind of mentioned a little bit. Talk about how you viewed the family reunion, how you sort of came back to the reunion. What was your relationship with the family reunion prior to that year I described and becoming the chair? And kind of how you came back to the reunion, if you will.
Well, I mean, I guess for me, it was always kind of based off of finances. Like, man, I don't, I
Mm,
probably thought the same way like everybody else, that we kind of do the same thing. We was always in Taylor's, and I wasn't a big fan of going outside of Taylor's. But we kind of do the same thing type of deal. In the grand scheme of things, the Bennett family reunion, I would say now looking at it, the cost to attend is not much more than, it's actually probably less than some of the other family reunions that I
hmm.
get invited to. So the cost is relatively manageable there. But um, I didn't necessarily just looking at the cost. I mean, my family's not we're not gonna be able to do it this year,
Right.
or again, I thought, well, they would just always do the same thing and see the same people. I sat with the same folks all the time.
Hmm.
Like, why am I gonna go to a reunion and sit with, with my mama and my brothers and sisters, or whoever,
Right.
and and then see the same people.
Yeah.
That was kind of my thought.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when got selected to be part of the on the committee, and going through a cycle of planning the reunion, and
Hmm.
then experiencing the reunion this past year,
Yeah.
and able to really, like you said, meet people, build connections.
Hmm.
Now I'm more energized. Okay, yeah, this
Yeah.
is cool. This is good.
Yes.
And I feel like, man, people are missing out.
Yes.
Just look past, your this belief that, okay, it's going to be the same old deal, same old people, same old
Hmm.
thing, same old place, same amount of money. Just look beyond that and do it for, come because, one, you part of the family.
Yes.
Two, you have if you have kids, you should want your kids to know who your cousins are.
Definitely.
Now, I look back in the reunions that I attended as a kid and just enjoy running
Hmm.
around East Riverside Park with Brandon, with Darrell and Shannon and Damon, and
Yeah.
we all just running around tossing the football here, whatever, blah 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 blah.
Hmm.
And so I would love for my kids to be able to have that same type of experience,
Yeah.
and so they connect with the family members, so they know who their cousins are when they
Yeah.
go off to different places, they go visit a different city,
Hmm.
or go off to school or whatever. Like, hey, you got family that you
Yeah.
can call on.
Hmm.
If you need something, they're there to help you out. And
Yeah.
so for that alone, just, I mean, you think about our history. I know you're gonna have a whole podcast talking about the history, but you're talking about two brothers, two sisters
Hmm.
having 10, or is it 12 and 14? I can't even remember.
Yeah.
You
10
know,
and 14. Yeah.
yeah, 10 and 14, and then there's branches from there. Hey,
Hmm.
we got a nice network.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It,
And
it's 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 a lot of us out there.
it's a lot. It's a lot of us out there. And so, and that was part of, our talking and playing and bringing value, that, listen, there's probably, nothing that we don't, I mean, anything someone needs, or there's a need for a family member has a need, there's another family that can help solve that problem, or
Yes.
can help them with that situation. And
Yes.
so, this almost very similar to the fraternity. The fraternity
Yeah.
life. You go to any city,
Hmm.
any place, you gonna find your fraternity brother. I'm gonna find a queue. You gonna find a new somewhere that
Hmm.
y'all can connect, and they can help you out any if you need it.
Yeah.
We, the Bennett family, is just as large
Yeah.
and just as well connected, has the resources to be able to do that. So I mean, energized about being a part of it now, and really, just encourage any folks who've kind of like, I'm not, I don't know. Just
Right.
come do it. Just
Just
come
come.
and experience. And just come and watch what happens. Just watch
Yeah.
what
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, 100% agree. Um, the family is the main attraction. And one of the things, this is why I like the group that we have now, and I like the chair that we have now. And I think it's so much value. And then just a little bit of behind the scenes. One of the things I mentioned to the group was like, man, we got to stay together for a certain amount of time because we got to do something special, because there hasn't been, at least in my lifetime, a group like this group.
happens.
And Jamie mentioned the past performance, or the history, or the experience of the past chairs, and then he comes aboard with a lot of um, really good skill sets in terms of business and things like that. But he has newer eyes. So what you can do is take a look, and then you can mix that with the history. So if you think about this, on this committee, we have probably about 25, maybe 35 or more years of experience, of hands-on experience, in terms of being able to actually plan a reunion. Like literally, we have that experience. And then
Mhm.
we have a new chairman who said, okay, let's put some new stuff in with what old that works. And then it's almost the best recipe. And so I think that's why this year really was just different for
Mhm.
me, to come and see the level of engagement from the little bitty kids all the way to the older adults. Everyone was engaged with each other. Everyone had these big smiles on their faces. So many people were talking in the room. No one was kind of sitting, no one was stalemated. It just was a really, really pleasant experience. And one of the things that we talked about is this, and we don't have to go into a whole lot of detail, but I think it's important to mention, particularly if people who are listening have never attended a reunion or have never attended a reunion planning committee or been a part of a reunion planning committee. Okay. Some
Hmm.
important things. We're not competing with your vacation. We're the draw. Like your family is the main event. Your family is the main event. So we don't want to compete with your vacation. We understand that. I love my vacation. I know you love yours. And I haven't said that. We agreed. One of the first things we talked about, Mr. Chair, is so let's stop pricing it like it's a vacation. We're
Hmm.
going to be as competitively priced as possible. We're going to make this as affordable as possible so it will be almost a no brainer that people will come. But you got to understand your family, you are the main event. And when you come, and you really give of yourself, and everybody's doing that. Everybody's there for that one effort. Man, it's explosive, and the energy there is fantastic. And I really think that's what we experienced on this last time.
Yep, totally agree. Totally agree. And you talk about, finances. I know that's always, can be the first barrier to a
Hmm.
lot of families. Oh, I don't have the money to do it, and again, relying on the wisdom and experience of past chairpersons there. You talked about how, okay, then let's reduce the amount of money it costs to come.
Yeah.
Instead of it being 100, let it be $50, so that the cost is not a barrier, because like you said, the family is attraction. We just want you to come.
Yeah.
And so y'all talked about how we reduced the cost and the numbers still kind of remain the same. So okay, well then let's just do the best we can to put on the best reunion,
Hmm.
and increase engagement, create a value there, so that family members will want to come, and those who going to come are going to come, and let's have a good time. But those who do show up, and I think this past year, from a financial standpoint, it wasn't too bad. I mean,
Right.
for the venue that we had, or the both venues that we had,
Hmm.
and for the food that we had, I thought it was very reasonable. And we even got to go back and get Friday night at Eric and Lynn's house.
Yeah.
They didn't charge us anything, but they had to cover the food. The largest expense we had was the venue for Saturday, but
Hmm.
the venue was so perfect for us. I mean, it gave us
Yeah.
everything we needed. So I mean, I think that's a venue, something like that is what we need to have. In fact, we're probably going to be there again next year.
Hmm.
Um, then Sunday we had the parlor. Because we're members of Reedy Fork, we got the membership discount, and so we had very quality venues at
Yes.
a very reasonable price. What I'm
Hmm.
saying, had quality food for a reasonable price,
Hmm.
and so for $100 to come and just spend time with family
Yeah.
was well worth. It was worth more than $100. It was worth more than that.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So and so I would just encourage family members to like look past the dollar figures,
Hmm.
look towards how much can you put on building a connection with a cousin that is going to be a lifetime connection. What dollar figure would you put on that?
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
that dollar figure is probably gonna be more than $100. It'd be more than that. So
Hmm.
if it's $100 to $50 or 75, whatever it is, to just come one weekend to hang out and build a connection, that now you all building this relationship for years to come, you
Right.
can put a value on that.
No, no,
Yeah.
no, no. And let's reiterate the committee is always the undertone is always how do we engage? How do we get more members there? So with that undertone, we're always considering best options, meaning lowest price, best quality. We're not going to sacrifice and just do anything. We
Right.
want you to come to a quality event, but we also don't think you should have to wear a tuxedo to get in the door. We're trying to make this accommodating for everybody. So let's talk about the event space. I love Unity Park. I think it is a space that covers us every direction you look in terms of it being equipped with activities. There's an inside space. There's outside, connectivity if you want to go outside. If we don't have to worry about if it rains or if it's too hot because we always have inside. Talk about that space and how excellent it's been, and if we're planning on using it for 2026.
Yeah, so it has basically everything that we needed. It's got the media center, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
AV, the
Yep.
technology there. We wanted to do something with PowerPoint or video, or Christian brought out his karaoke machine,
Mm.
the screens.
That,
Yeah,
that
you
was
can
a
do.
big deal.
That was a big deal. It was a big deal.
Yeah.
And so all the audio and visual stuff,
Mm-hmm.
they have that.
Yeah.
The space is large enough to where if you want to bring stuff in, like
Mm-hmm.
Christian brought in the this basketball deal and the photo booth, if you want to bring in stuff,
Mm-hmm.
you can do that. Of course, it's sheltered. If it rains, you can still have your event. And if you
Mm-hmm.
want to go outside and run around, let kids run off some steam, run off some of that energy,
Mm-hmm.
they've got a park. I mean, and it's a large park. If you want to just
Beautiful
walk
park.
around, you
Yeah.
can just walk. They've
Mm-hmm.
got the one segment there is almost like a little. I mean, it's a water deal, probably more for like little kids. But
Mm-hmm.
if it's hot and you want to get wet, you want to get your feet wet,
Yeah.
you got that. Well, if you want to walk down at the end of the after everything is over and you and your cousin have connected, y'all want to continue to have conversation, well, you can
Mm-hmm.
walk down to a restaurant and grab a drink or two, or just sit down,
Mm-hmm.
continue to have conversation. So that venue was perfect for us. We and the beauty of it is we had it all day. It wasn't
Right.
like we're just limited to 2 or 3 hours. We had the maximum amount of time that we could have the space,
Mm-hmm.
and it just provided everything that we needed. The crew there, had enough tables, enough chairs that we could rearrange the room however we saw fit. It just was a very and then the kitchen. I mean, we had a kitchen where we had
Yeah.
brought
Yeah.
in. We could bring in food, keep it warm until it's time
Mm-hmm.
to eat, and da da da. And so it was just by far the best venue for us
Yeah.
for a family reunion, and that is it was just outstanding.
Yeah. Very competitively priced for this type of venue. There are no restrictions on us necessarily. Like they don't make us use their caterer and all that kind of stuff. It's wide open to us. It's very clean. Air
Hmm.
conditioning certainly works, so
That's right.
you're not gonna get hot inside. Restrooms are right there and available to you. Parking's right outside. It's just a great venue for our family, and we took full advantage of it. With our size, we were able to use that whole room. It just worked out so great. Everybody kind of got in their own little area and was doing their thing. It was time to eat. It was time to have a family meeting. We came together. You could break out. It just like you said, we were there all day. Um, and we talked about that actually in the one of the meetings.
Hmm.
One of the pieces of feedback that we would get over the years is that people felt a little rushed during the reunion. So we would come like Saturday picnic wise, and then we would break down around 2 or 3 and then go change and be back sometimes to the same place at about 4 or 5 to do an evening event. And people felt, I'm really rushed. I got to go change clothes. I'm coming right back to the same place. And one of the things this leadership team talked about was let's just stay there. Let's be there.
Hmm.
Let's give the family time to fellowship, relax. Nobody's rushed. And that's one of the things you saw
Yep.
different that we did this year.
Yep. And it's a type of space that allows the family or whoever rents the place. It allows you the opportunity to be as creative as you
Mm,
want to be to and create that environment that is going to be conducive for your to make sure your event was a success. And so they allowed us the opportunity to do that. Christian did a good job of um, bringing in some programming, bringing in some
yeah.
activities. And so it just worked out really well for us on Saturday. And then Sunday, the parlor at Reedy Fork, nice, quaint environment. Um, that this was it was just a great for us to do what we need to do for Sunday. Sundays
Yeah.
are very just a short program to say here's some food, here's some highlights, here's some recognition. We want to acknowledge some folks. We want to take
Mhm.
time to remember some folks, remember those who those businesses who've gone on and moved from labor to reward. We want to remember them. And
Mhm.
so it's just an opportunity for us to kind of fellowship in a more intimate setting. with quality food because Pastor Simmons is going to have a great.
It was very quality.
It's gonna be good with Pastor Simmons. He does everything with
Yeah.
in excellence and order with Pastor Simmons. So
Yes.
the Reedy Fort venue was good as well. And so I was just really pleased with the entire weekend.
Yeah, agree. And we heard a lot of sentiments to that regard. As a matter of fact, let's talk about moving forward. We
Hmm.
we've already met, as
Right.
we've already started talking about planning for 2026, guys. We've already started that planning piece. Let's start a little bit, Mr. Chair, and give them a little bit of insight on what it is that we are looking forward to for 2026. So Unity Park, we talked about how excellent it was. Reedy Fork, it's really no need, right, to reinvent the wheel if it's not broken.
That's
And
right.
and we did such a good job with locating these facilities, and it worked so well. Reedy Fork, Reverend Simmons has always been a friend to the Bennett family. What have we done so far in terms of planning for 2026?
Well, anytime you want to look at planning for the next year, you got to look and go back and see how did it go last year. We all agree, that last year was great, and that this past year was great. So what we want to build off of that. We just kind of had a little brainstorming session just a
Hmm.
couple of days ago, and the one thing that I'm really excited about is, I don't know we have an official name for it yet, but I'm calling it right now, just kind of parade of Bennett's. We
Yeah.
want we want to we really want to um, bring the connection together so that family members can know how they're connected. We all know we're connected because of two brothers and two sisters got
Hmm.
married and had a whole bunch of kids, right?
Right.
But how are we really? I mean, let's get down to details a little bit more. Okay, show me who's the grandparents of this person. Who's
Hmm.
who is this? Who's the granddaughter of this? Who are your grandparents? Who are your mom and dad? Whatever. And
Hmm.
so, the thought is, how can we highlight each branch, and so we
Hmm.
can see the family, the core there from each branch, so we can visually see that. Oh, okay. So
Right.
you say Preston Hus. Okay, I see. Okay, now I see the connection there. So
Hmm.
family members would know. Well, my lineage is Lemuel and Nanny Mae. Oh,
Hmm.
okay. So your uncle was EJ, and then that's Kathy and Geraldine and
Right.
Will. Okay, so y'all on that. Okay, on that side or on this side. So how can
Hmm.
we bring that to light a little bit more so that family members can actually see the connection. So we're in the beginning stages of this. Cousin Connie was like, "Yeah, we can do that and have each family present their side, their own
Yeah.
unique way." And so,
Hmm.
okay, that's exciting right there. So
Yeah.
that's going to take. We need to put a little more meat on that bone, but I
Hmm.
think that alone will help. One of the suggestions I would say, or recommendations that came forth from this past reunion, is that they wanted an activity where all family members were be a part of. Well,
Right.
this will fit that. Will solve that suggestion that we not only are we all involved in one particular activity, but we're
Hmm.
learning how we are connected past two brothers and two sisters marrying each other.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And I'm super excited about that because even being a past chair and on the committee now, there's so many of us. Like, but I'll tell you, man, there's so many benefits, and I don't want to get off on the tangent, but so
Yeah.
many benefits of being engaged with this kind of work. Before I was a chair, I was very seldom at the reunion. Okay, so I'll go all the way back. But then when I became chair, going through registration process and seeing people's names and connecting faces with names, I had to do that. I didn't know everybody by face and name. So you go from there to then trying to do what you're talking about now is okay, now how are we actually related, you
Hmm.
know, and that sort of thing. And so that's super interesting, to me. Sometimes people find out that Carnell's my dad. They're like, "Oh, Carnell's your dad." And I say, "Yeah." So then they start telling me stories about my dad, obviously stuff I don't know about. And
Yeah.
so it's super, super exciting to be able to fill those gaps and those blocks. And is responsible on our part. Why?
That's right.
Because our folks are aging. We're all aging. And if we don't capture this, again, this is a big plug for our history podcast that's coming up. If we don't plug these gaps now, they may remain to be gaps.
That's
They may
right.
remain to be gaps. And who knows, maybe you are the only person on your lineage that can fill some of these gaps. So it's
That part.
important that you're here. It's
That
important that you're here.
that part there, Kelly, because we all kind of, like you say, we're all just there, kind of fellowshipping. But you may be the only person, that branch of
Mm-hmm.
whoever, and you like, wait a minute, now you can start thinking a little differently.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I'm the only person on this side, where's everybody else? Or how can I continue to represent my side or represent
Right.
my branch? Or
Exactly.
maybe like let's say in my case, I only talk about my branch. Like I mentioned some names, some cousins' names last night, and Connie was like, I don't even know who they are. Well,
Yeah.
you should know who they are
Yes.
because
Yes.
they're cousins. So as I'm got to do a better job of engaging folks on my branch so that I
Mm-hmm.
get those folks to come so that
Sure.
we can meet more family members. And if we can find that one person or someone who's going to champion their
Mm-hmm.
branch to get more folks to come, that just makes the family that much better, much
Yeah.
more connected, much larger, obviously, but more connected and increase the engagement.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Listen, I can sit here and talk your ear off. We're going on almost an hour, so
Yes,
two
right.
more questions. But I want you to share with the family because you already show innovation, okay? And we see it all the time on the committee calls, but families are not on the committee call. And one of the things that Jamie brings is this newness in terms of his eyes and innovation and ways of thinking about old things in new ways. Talk about your vision with the podcast and social media and things like that, ways to reach out to the family. What's your vision in terms of this podcast and coupling it with social media and ways to reclaim and
Yeah.
re-engage?
Well, I said earlier that I thought that if any family member has a need or is has a concern or question about something,
Hmm.
whether it is banking or finances or jobs or medical or whatever the case may be, I am confident that we have someone in the family that can answer that question.
Yes.
And so, if we can utilize platforms like Zoom or podcasts to highlight those folks who have, subject matter expertise in different industries or different industries, let's bring them to light and let's talk about it so that our younger folks, even some older folks, if they have some questions about
Hmm.
how to start a business or what is life insurance or whatever case may be, that they know they can go to a family member versus
Hmm.
going out someone on the outside. And not saying the people from outside the family aren't trustworthy, but hopefully you could trust someone in your family who's
Sure.
going to give you genuine facts and give you the
It's good
real
information.
good
Yeah.
information that you can trust. What I'm
Yes.
saying? Someone is going to be looking out for your best interest. And
Hmm.
so if we can utilize these platforms to again highlight that, to highlight those who have subject matter expertise, increase engagement of family members throughout the year, not just once a year during the family reunion, but we can continue to have engagement throughout the year.
Hmm.
Uh, Hopefully, that is bringing what we said, bringing value to you, to the family member, to the Bennett family. And ultimately, we hope that you will desire to want to come once a year, hang out with us the
Sure.
first weekend in August, because we've been connecting all year long. We've been providing some material, some engagement,
Hmm.
something you to think about or listen to. You may not be a big podcast person, but because you got some family members, like, yeah, my family's got, you can brag, man, my family's got, we got our own podcast. How
Yeah.
many families got their own podcast?
Right. Right.
My other family, we don't have our own podcast. The
No.
Bennett family has their own podcast.
Hmm.
Come on.
And you can be a part of it.
Exactly.
And you can be a part of it. I got to tell you, we were meeting the other night and then this idea came up. I had thought about it before, but I said, you know what? We've never had our chair to really just kind of reach out the way you're doing it now in this sort of format. And it's going to get to everybody. Everybody who needs to listen, wants to listen, can listen to this and they
Mhm.
can hear your thoughts, even if they don't attend the reunion or they haven't attended any planning committee meetings, they still can hear from you as it
Hmm.
relates to what's going on currently with the reunion and with the family. And that in and of itself is an innovation, and it's gonna benefit. I just can't believe that this is not gonna be a recruiting tool, a tool that's gonna get people's attention and say, "Hey, did you hear about this or did you hear about that?" And that's really why we want to do this. Now, this is not going to be every podcast, but I think every 30, 60 days or so, I would love to hear what's going
Hmm.
on with the Family Reunion Planning Committee instead of just getting a letter once a
That's
year
right.
or showing up, in the first weekend of August. So I really like this format. I think that this is going to bring a lot of value and does bring a lot of value to family members. So let's mark this one down. Sitting with the chair. Every 60 or 90 days or whatever we decide to do. But I think this has a lot of value for family members. From young to old. So I'm really happy that we were able to do this today. And I kind of just want to close out with one question, and then I'm gonna open it up to you. Let's talk about ways that family members can be engaged. I've talked earlier about the benefits of engagement and the benefits of attendance. And I want to shout out one person because I gave a story about you and I sitting down in that tent on Reunion 51. But last year, and every year I want to walk away with a story, right? Every year I want to, and I do have one. I didn't say anything about it last year. I almost said something, but I had a conversation that otherwise I wouldn't have had with a family member, my little cousin. I'm saying little, but she's under 40. Leslie. I sat down with Leslie for about 30 minutes. And man, we had a conversation that I don't think if she hadn't come to the reunion or if I hadn't come to the reunion, we would have never had. And this conversation was overdue. And I won't disclose what we talked about, but I will say I was just I walked away from the conversation so appreciative of her and her vulnerability in terms of just disclosing certain information to me. And I just thought, you know what, man, if I just don't come, I don't get this time to sit down and talk to her. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And likewise, if she doesn't come, she doesn't get to sit down and talk to me. But we had this conversation, and I mentioned to her in a way that she'll understand because, of course, she engaged with the conversation. And I'm not like calling her out, but I'm kind of calling her out because there was something that we said we were going to do in that conversation, and I want her to know that that's still on my heart, and I was greatly appreciative of that. And I want greater family attendants to know that you can have this kind of connectivity too. You just got to come.
Yeah. You just got to
You just
come.
got to come. You can connect with your family in a special way, but you just got to come. And that happened with me this year, and it happened with Leslie. Now, listen, I connected with a lot of other people. I'm bringing this conversation with Leslie up because it's going to be impactful what we're going to do based on that conversation. And I had that conversation with her. So let's
Yeah.
talk about how family members can engage. What are some things that they can do? How can they reach out to us? And then we'll close it out with any final thoughts that you may have.
Well, we want to try to be as the committee, when I'm not say this, I mean, we want to be as accessible as possible. So, we've got, of course, we have email. We can always email us at Bennett Family 1973, or is it
Mhm.
1970, Bennett Family 1973 at
We'll put it in the
Yeah.
descriptions on the show notes. We'll make sure we have
Yeah.
that.
So, of course, we got email. We sent a letter out early in the year about all our contact information in terms of, email and phone number, all that kind of jazz. So you can always reach out to us. We have these platforms, these social platforms that we try to engage and keep the family up to speed throughout the year with things that are going on with the reunion. So join the Bennett Family in Touch Facebook page.
Hmm.
Um, so please join that if you haven't already. There's a Group Me. If you're familiar with Group Me app, the group chat, there's a Group Me chat that's for the Bennett family. You can join that if you would like. And then again, just you can always just contact us
Yeah.
with any ideas, any thoughts, or anything like that. Christian, I think the under 40 groups got their own little group
Hmm.
chat or
Yep.
IG page or something like that. So Christian has that access to that type of deal. So if there are many ways to stay in contact with us,
Hmm.
we just want you to stay in contact with us.
Yes.
Join the Facebook page so you can see what we're doing. A lot of our information will go through Facebook, Instagram. You've done a great job of building a web page that we are still upgrading or still updating.
Hmm.
So that'll be another way that you can stay abreast of what's going on. So that's how you can stay connected. But the most thing we just this reunion, the reunion itself, the committee, we're just trying to put together something that we think that everyone will enjoy. It's about bringing family together so we can fellowship one another, encourage one another, be there for one another, reflect on those who have gone before us,
Hmm.
tell those old stories and what we used to do and what we back then, da 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 da. At the same time, encouraging the young folk, the younger generation to continue to come on, continue to be strong, continue to do your thing. And if you're graduating high school, going to college, oh, okay, you're going to Coastal Carolina. Well, Brandon's son's
Hmm.
down there. Y'all should connect that type, or whatever case may be.
Right.
So we just our desire is just to create an environment there where family members can just be about the family. The Bennett family could be about the Bennett family, and we can
Hmm.
just love on each other.
Right.
So, we try to do that in the most cost-effective way.
Hmm.
Okay. But we just really want you just to come, just, I mean, we promise you, based on, if you haven't heard it yet, based on my testimony today and Kelly's testimony today,
Hmm.
if you just come, I promise you, you're going to get something out of it.
Yes.
Promise you're going to get something out. You're going to meet a new family member. You're going to build a new connection, or you're going to strengthen the connection that was just okay for a little while, but now it's much
Mhm.
stronger, and you're going to build new connections. My favorite time this past on 52 was watching Jocelyn turn up when she's about Glorilla on the karaoke. It's like, okay, so my
Yeah.
nickname for her now is Turn Up because she gonna
Hey,
So, but
I think she's had that nickname for a while. So,
well, this is my first time seeing her. So, okay, you the Turn Up cousin,
oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So, but you don't get that unless you come. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we just want, just come,
Yeah.
just come on.
Yeah, just come, just come, just
Yeah,
come. And what we promise in the meantime, we're going to do more podcasts. We're certainly going to talk more with the chair. Obviously, you can hear he's got a lot of information to share. Wonderful, wonderful leadership style. He makes our planning meetings so enjoyable, and we're super organized. We're focused. We actually get things done as you can see. And there's so much more to do. And listen, we don't know everything. So a way for you to engage is just even if you have an idea, if you have an
yeah,
idea, no idea is a bad idea. Let's just kind of bring it to the table, bring it to the planning committee. You're part of this family. It's important for you to know that the reunion doesn't belong to the planning committee. It
that's right.
belongs to the family. It belongs to the family. We are just fortunate enough to be entrusted to put the event together. But this reunion belongs to all of us. So your voice is necessary. Your voice is important. Mr. Chairman, thank you so much for spending time with us today. This, I feel like we've only kind of cracked the shell. We're going to
Yeah.
come back again in another 60 days or so, and we're going to do another installation. Same with our medical podcast. I've had questions about when we're going to do the next podcast. We're going to have we've got a couple doctors in this family, and we're going to have a roundtable, and we're going to talk more medical advice for this family. But after this podcast, you can look forward to the family history podcast, where we're going to talk in detail about the history specific to family members and how you can engage and how you can help us fill in some of the gaps. Anything, Mr. Chairman, anything else that you want to talk about before we close out?
No, I think we've addressed a lot of issues, a lot of I can't we've addressed a lot of topics today. The main thing is, it in order for the family to continue, we need for you to come.
Yes.
And if you hadn't been in a while, or if you have some reservations about coming, and you've got kids, come just even for your kids' sakes, so they
Hmm.
can see, oh, I'm part of this large family. And so
Hmm.
when I see somebody who's whose last name Bennett, oh, okay, I might be related to them.
Right.
And what I used to tell folks, because they ask me, are you related to such and such Bennett? I'm like, listen, if the Bennett from the Greer Taylor's area, I'm related to them.
Yeah.
If they're from the Greer Taylor's area, yep, I'm related.
Yep.
Just know that this family runs deep. We have a lot of people, a lot of
Mhm.
family members, and we just want you to come and be engaged with us, so that we can continue this. We just did 52. We're looking
Mhm.
forward to 53, but we want there to be a 75. We want there to be 100. We want
Yeah.
that we need this to continue, but we need folks to come, younger generation, to come and experience it. Give us your feedback. If you want to do something different, that's fine. Let's talk about it.
Mhm.
Let's figure out how we can make it happen. If you
Yeah.
think we could do something different, then hey, let's talk about it. Think we can add value here? Let's talk about it. Like Kelly said, this reunion is for you. We have just been entrusted with the responsibility to plan it. And
Mhm.
so if you're not happy with it, let us know. If you're happy with it, let us know.
Yeah.
But we just want to try to put something together to keep us engaged so we can just fellowship so that when we do come together, it is a good time, and it's almost like a party. The business is getting together and just having a really good time, each and every year. So we just ask that if finances is concerned, give us a call. Let's talk about it. We can
Yeah.
figure something out
Yeah.
because we're family. Because we're
Yeah.
family. We'll
That's
figure
it.
something out.
That's it. And listen, make sure that you are following us on
Yep.
our social medias. We're going to list everything that the chairman talked about in terms of how to connect with us in our show notes. This podcast, believe it or not, we're listed in most places where you can find podcasts. So you're listening to this. Maybe your brother or sister isn't. Maybe your cousin isn't. Share it with them. That is the way to get the information out. And we'll make sure that we've got all of our contact information updated in the show notes so that folks that need to reach out to us can. Mr. Chairman, again, thank you so much for the time today. I'm excited about moving forward. I'm excited about 2026. We didn't talk about it, and we'll come back in 60 days. But guys, we're going to be planning some stuff for the family for the holidays.
Hmm.
So, keep your ear out for that as well. So, again, another podcast coming out. If you haven't bookmarked this already, do that. Bennett Family Podcast, and we will be back very, very soon. Thank you, guys.
Thank you all.